Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pam and I am back with another video. Now in today's video it's going to be a little different because in the past videos I've usually talked about handbags, but today I want to talk about my breast cancer journey. So to give you some background on why I decided to do this video today, I was cleaning up on Saturday and I came across a bag that I have not carried probably in years. So I decided to open the bag up to see if there was anything in it. Why I decided to do that, I don't know, but I did. And I came across something that brought back some memories for me. And what I came across was this little ruler. You can see that there, and I'll show it again. But I came across this ruler that my radiologist gave me when I went to it was probably my second or third appointment with him. So let me start from the beginning as far as how I was, or when I was diagnosed and what my prognosis was and where I went from there. So on August the 23rd of 2015, I had my annual mammogram. No big deal. I've been getting them. I had been getting them for years at that point. So went in, had my mammogram. They said, "Have a great day, Miss Autry. If we need any further images, like they said in the past, we'll call you and let you know." No problem. So the next day, I was in a meeting, a manager's meeting, and I received a call from the office, from the diagnostic center. And I was like, okay, this is a little strange. I didn't get the call at that time, so they left a message. So we were at lunch. So the restaurant was loud. I couldn't hear anything, so I decided to walk out. So I walked out and I listened to the message, and it pretty much said, "Please give us a call back. We will need additional images at this time. Call in so you can schedule your appointment." So I was a little weary. So while I was standing outside, I called back and I spoke to the young lady and I said, "You guys just left me a message, said you need additional images, so I need to come in." She said, "Okay, Miss Autry, we can get you in tomorrow. Are you available tomorrow?" I said, "Sure, I can, make myself available." And I asked her at that time, I said, "Well, should I be concerned about you needing additional images?" And she said, "No, don't worry. Just come in, get the images, and we'll tell you what you need to do at that point." So I said, okay. Went back in, finished lunch with my counterparts. We went, back to the office, finished up our meeting. And then the next day, I went in for my additional images. So they used the smaller trays, I guess, or the smaller attachments so that they can get better images. That's how I remember it. That may not be the case, but it seemed like they were smaller trays. They got the additional images. And she told me, have a seat in the waiting room. We're going to have the radiologist. He's going to take a look now so we know how to proceed. So I'm sitting in this, it wasn't actually a waiting room. It was a waiting room, but there weren't other people in it. It was only me. Round table, a couple of chairs. So I was sitting there and I was kind of fidgety, of course. And the radiologist comes in and he says, "Miss Autry, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but I can't rule out anything with these images. You're going to have a biopsy." So I said, "Okay, well, let's do what we need to do." So they sent me back to the front desk and they scheduled the appointment for my biopsy. So of course, I let my husband know. I don't remember. I may have let my children know at that time. I remember my son was 15. He was still in high school, and my daughters were pretty much grown and already gone. but I can't remember if I'm pretty sure I did let them know, at the time, this is what we're dealing with, nothing definitive yet. I have other appointments that I have to go to. So I remember at this time, when I came home from that appointment, I came home early. I didn't bother going back to work. I just came home. And my son said, "Oh, good, Ma, you're home. Can you take me to GameStop?" And the reason I'm telling this portion of the story is because God sends his angels, and, we don't know who we're going to encounter, who we're going to meet, how these people are going to interact with us or react to us. But God had placed his angels in my path at that time already. So I really didn't want to go to GameStop, but okay, Jordan, let's go. So we go to GameStop. I stay in the car. If I remember correctly, it was raining, so I just stayed in the car. I sent Jordan in. Jordan comes back out. He says, "I don't have enough money, Mom. They need you to come in." So I remember saying to Jordan, "I don't have time for this. I'm dealing with something right now." And he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Okay, Pam, get it together. Just go to GameStop, pay for his game, and head back home." So I went in the store, and apparently my eyes were red because I had been crying. And the young man behind the register, he took my card, he finished ringing up, Jordan's stuff. And he says to me, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine, son. Just, do what you need to do, and we'll get out your way." And he said, "Can I come around there and can I hug you?" And I just kind of looked at him, and then I looked at Jordan, and he came from behind the register, and he hugged me. He had no idea what I was going through. He just hugged me, and he said, "It's going to be all right." And of course, that brought on more tears. But I thought, when I think back, I remember those moments because they were encouraging, because I knew that was God sending an angel to me to say, "I'm still with you. I'm still with you. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Handle your business. Do what you got to do. I am here with you." So we finished up, came home, and that was that. So I went in probably a day or two later for the biopsy. And I remember they called me at work a couple of days later, maybe. And it wasn't quite lunchtime yet, but it was close to lunchtime. And they called me and they said, "Miss Autry, we need for you to come in." And I said, "Well, okay, do you want me to come now, or, what do you need for me to do? Come in now." I said, "Well, if you're calling me to come in now, that means it's not good news." And she said, "Well, I really can't discuss anything with you over the phone, but please come as soon as you can." So I let my boss know, I let my employees know, I hop in the car, and I'm headed to the doctor's office. So my daughter meets me there, and we go in, and we don't wait very long. They're waiting for me, and we go back, and he says, "We did find something. It is stage 0 breast cancer, and right now it looks like the only thing that you will have to do is have a lumpectomy, and you will do radiation. But of course, we'll do additional testing to determine if we have to do anything in addition to the lumpectomy and the radiation." So my daughter's crying, I'm crying, and he's like, "Hold on." He's like, "Hold on, wait a minute." He's like, "I understand your emotions right now." He said, "But it's curable. It's curable. We found that, stage 0, when we do the lumpectomy and the radiation, that our patients, there's the rate of survivability is very high, or the survival rate is very high. So we have a good prognosis. We're going to take it from here. Someone will be in contact with you." And then, so my daughter and I we said, "Okay, get ourselves together so we can understand what's going on here and what we'll need." to do next. So that appointment was somewhat overwhelming because you talk to the doctor, and then you talk to the nurse, and then you talk to another person that gives you all these contacts and lets you know that there are resources for support groups and you know what to expect. So I saw 3 or 4 different people, and it was like we were talking to so many different people during that day. And like I said, it was pretty overwhelming because they're giving you so much information. So she and I walk out of the appointment, and I contact my employer. There was someone that I worked with at the time that knew what I was dealing with, and she had dealt with breast cancer. She said, please let me know as soon as you know what they say. So I called her, I let her know. I called, of course, my husband, who wasn't able to make it to the appointment at that time, to let him know. And, you know, the first thing he said was, how are we going to attack it? What do we need to do? You know, he's ready to go in and get things taken care of. So I have to tell him, wait a minute, slow down. They're still giving me information. But, you know, that's the kind of person he is. Okay, so now we know we're going to take it on head on so that we can deal with this and, you know, get through it. So I remember calling my pastor and my co-pastor and telling them, and my aunt, you know, just different people that were close to me, so I could let them know this is what we're going to be dealing with for the next at least couple of months. So let me get all the prayer warriors on board. And it was just a lot going on at that time. I remember my older daughter was at work, and when she left work, she came to the house and she sat and we talked. But everybody was so supportive, so, you know, encouraging. They just let me know, hey, we're going to beat this. We've got God on our side. We have faith. We're going to beat this. So after that appointment, I had an MRI. And I remember another situation where I encountered an angel. I remember being inside the machine, and I was overwhelmed. I was crying because why me? Of course, we all ask that question. Why me? I'm 42 years old, and I'm having to deal with this. Why me? I don't want to have to go through this. So when they come to remove me from the machine, the nurse was there with me. And, you know, my face at this point is soaked, and she just hugs me. She says, sweetie, it's going to be all right. I'm right here with you. Yet again, another angel God has sent to let me know that he is still with me. He has not left me. He has not forsaken me. So I get dressed, head outside, and as soon as I see my husband, I just collapse in his arms because it's just like so much going on. And he comforts me, and he's like, you are stronger than you think. We are going to get through this. I know you may not feel like it right now, and that's okay, because you have me to lean on. And then we have God that we're leaning on together. So I get through that appointment, and believe it or not, I go to work. Because at this point, I don't want to be at home, and I don't want to be by myself sitting and thinking and looking online and Googling. I go to work, and I let my counterparts know, the other managers know what I'm dealing with, and they pray for me right then and there. And then we finish up our meeting, and then we go. So my next meeting, or my next appointment that I have, is with my surgeon, who was absolutely awesome. And he says, you know, Miss Autry, with the lumpectomy and the radiation, you're going to beat this. You're going to be just fine. I'm telling you now. So I'm like, okay. So in the meantime, my girlfriend from church has planned a trip. So I talked to the doctor, and I'm like, you know, I have a friend from church that has paid for a trip for us to go on. Is it going to be okay for me to go on this trip? And he's like, absolutely. Go, enjoy yourself. And then when you come back, we'll do the lumpectomy, and then we'll start your radiation. So I do just that. She and I and her other girlfriend go on this trip. We have a wonderful time. I come back, prepare for surgery. So I do the lumpectomy, and then I go back. I'm out of work for a week, and then I go back to the surgeon. He's like, yes, it's time to start radiation. You're going to do 6 weeks of radiation. So my surgery was in October. So I think I started radiation maybe around the beginning of November, because I remember having to go throughout the holidays. So I meet with my radiologist, and he's saying the same thing. Your prognosis is good, girlfriend. You're going to be just fine. You know, all of my doctors, all of my nurses, everybody that I dealt with was absolutely awesome. And I thank God for them, for their bedside manner, for their encouragement, and for the wisdom and the knowledge that he gave them in order to diagnose me, perform a successful surgery, and be successful with radiation. So my radiologist he was really cool. He and my husband developed this relationship because I had to see him once a week on every Wednesday. I had radiation every day, but I saw him on every Wednesday. So I would go to work every day, 7:30 to 2:30. I would leave I would leave work and go straight to radiation. My husband would meet me there, and I'd come home, and the rest of the day I would just rest, chill, because they had already told me the radiation will eventually make you tired. Just make sure you're getting as much rest as possible, and then, you know, try to take it easy. So I decided I still wanted to work because, again, I don't want to be at home by myself all day, Googling, looking up stuff that I have no business looking up, diagnosing myself. So I decided to work, and my employer was very understanding. There were days that I was late, or there were days that I couldn't go because I was tired as a result of the radiation. And after about 2 weeks of radiation, my radiologist came to me and he said, you know, we may have to pause your radiation because you have a severe burn. And I knew that I had a severe burn as a reaction to the radiation, but I told him, no, we're not stopping. We're going straight through. So he said, well, if it gets any worse, we're going to have to reevaluate this. So thank God it didn't get any worse, and I was able to continue with my radiation. But after about the 3rd week of seeing him, he sat me down and he talked to me and he said, you know, you are a very blessed young lady. I said, yes, you're right. He said, let me show you something. And that's when he brought out this ruler. And of course it was blank at the time. He said, let me show you the size of the spot that was found during your mammogram. So if you could see right there, that little dot, to put things into perspective, that is the size of the spot that was found during my mammogram. And of course, when I knew that the spot was small because they said stage 0. And I think they even at the time had given me measurements. I don't remember specifically what they said at that time, but he showed me on this ruler, and it just brought things into perspective, as if I didn't already know that I was blessed, because of the support system that I had, because of the people that were praying for me, because of the fact that I was still able to go to work and perform my job, and because people were coming up to my husband and me and saying, if we didn't know what you were going through, we wouldn't know that you were going through. And that was a blessing to us, because we knew that it was important for us to keep our heads up, for us to stay strong, for us to show everybody that God was definitely with us, that God was in control of the situation, because you know people are always watching, especially if you proclaim to be a Christian, which my employees knew, my employer knew, and all the people around me knew that. So it was important for me to make sure that I was a representative of Christ during that whole time. Now, does that mean that I didn't have bad days? Certainly I had bad days. I've told you about the bad days that I had, you know, bursting out at GameStop, you know, collapsing in my husband's arms after the MRI, or, you know, even having a moment while I was in the MRI machine. So yes, I absolutely had moments, but the key was I didn't stay there. I did not stay there. I had my moment, and then I went into prayer. Lord, I know that you said that you will never leave me or forsake me, so I know that you are with me with the angels that you have placed around me. So I pray that you continue to strengthen me, Lord God. I pray that you will place somebody in my path that will offer words of encouragement, that will offer words of inspiration, just a support system. And he did that the entire time with people I knew and with people that I didn't know, that were reaching out to me, offering words of encouragement. So I'm so grateful that I came across this ruler this past weekend. And let me show it to you again. That's the size of the spot that they found there. And on it, I wrote my name, and I wrote the date of my mammogram, which was 8/25/15. I think I said 8/23 earlier, but it was actually August the 25th was when I had my mammogram. I was diagnosed on September the 2nd, and I had my surgery on October the 23rd, all in 2015. And at the bottom it says wound depth, but I decided to put a Bible verse there that says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17, because at that time I realized the weapon formed, but it didn't prosper. It only made me stronger. It only made me better. It only developed the relationship that I had with God at that time, and the current relationship that I have with God, because when I saw this ruler, it was a reminder that God is always with me. So I want to encourage anyone out there today that may be going through something. You may have been recently diagnosed with breast cancer, or you may be on your journey now. I don't know. But what I do know is God is with you. You can make it. Stay strong, stay encouraged, surround yourself with like-minded people, people that will encourage you, people that will support you, people that will tell you you are going to make it, people that will pray for you. Surround yourself with those kinds of people. And like I said, that doesn't mean that you won't have a moment, and that's okay. But like I tell myself, like I tell my daughters, like I tell anyone that I encounter that may be dealing with something, yes, we all face challenges. We're all going to deal with something, but we don't have to stay in that. We can get ourselves out of that. We can profess and proclaim the victory through Jesus Christ and through his power, that we are victors and not victims. So I hope today that this video was encouraging. Like I said, it's not a little different. It's a whole lot different from the videos that I have done in the past. But I just wanted to encourage someone. After I found this ruler, I knew that it was time for me to make a video concerning my breast cancer journey. Like I told you, this was in 2015. We are now in 2023. I am still cancer-free. Praise the Lord. I have my mammograms annually. Initially, they were every 6 months. And when I saw my oncologist, they decided to start doing it annually as opposed to every 6 months because they felt like it was stressful for the breast cancer survivors to have to go twice a year. So now I go annually, I go faithfully, I don't miss my appointment. When they say, Miss Autry, it's time, schedule me, I'll be in there. So I want to encourage you, if you're currently not having mammograms and you have reached the age where they are suggested, please do so, because they have come a long way with being able to treat breast cancer. I remember telling my son when I found out, I told him, I said, son, you know, they've told mom that she has breast cancer. And then I told him what they were going to do as a result of that. I said, they're going to do surgery, and then I'm going to have radiation for 6 months, or excuse me, 6 weeks, and then mom's going to be fine. And he was just kind of quiet, and I was looking at him. I was like, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything? You have any questions? He was like, you just said you're going to be okay, right? I said, yes, that's pretty much what I just said. He was like, okay, well, I'm good too then. So that's another moment that I'll never forget. But I'm just so grateful and thankful for the reminder from God out of nowhere, cleaning out a purse that I haven't carried in years, and I found this testimony. So I want to thank you for tuning in for today's video. Like I said, I pray that someone was encouraged. I pray that someone is inspired. And most of all, I pray that someone is blessed from this testimony, from this message, from this video. And if you're currently on your breast cancer journey and you need to add someone to your support system, or you just need to reach out, or you need to vent, please, by all means, let me know. Send me a message. I have no issues reaching out. I have no issues getting in contact with you if that is what you desire, to offer words of encouragement, because I am a living witness, and I know that you can beat it, and I know that you can get through it. So everybody, take care of yourselves, be safe out there, and I hope to see you in the next video.